Welcome to Guzzlr.
Hello and welcome to the Guzzlr podcast. This is episode 36. You alright, Declan?
No.
What's wrong?
That little bit we just did there.
Alright, fair enough. We're 36 episodes in. You want out?
He reminds about that every week, though, to be fair.
You look like you had enough, mate.
I have. It's not of you boys, though. It's of, Well, actually, it is.
You got 40 years of this, mate.
Great.
Imagine 2071. We've got 14 views.
Finally.
So today we are talking about something very close to Declan's heart.
No, it's not.
It's weird Declan's not leading this one, actually, because I feel like I've stole one of his favourite topics. We're going to be talking about magic.
I'm not.
But not just magic. I've been watching a lot of David Blaine. You alright, Louis?
This is ADHD. He has to start hitting shit if he isn't getting any attention.
It seems like it. It seems that way.
I haven't spoken a little while.
You can talk, mate. Go on.
No, I'm happy. You carry on.
Wow. Classic. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of magic with David Blaine, who
It's
isn't...
not magic, though, is it?
Is David Blaine even magic?
No!
He is just mental.
No, because there was once a famous philosopher who said, magic is just science that we can't explain.
That was Thor!
If
It's not a philosopher!
I was about to say, if this is a Disney quote, I'm fuming. I'm
That's
leaving.
literally in the first Thor film. I hate it here.
Nonetheless,
Guzzlr podcast.
you can't explain some of the stuff that David Blaine does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. He's mental.
Yeah, we'll just put it down to the fact that he is just an idiot.
He just does. Yeah, he just does stuff. Like there's one where he sews his
he's an
mouth
idiot,
shut,
right?
but he is just sewing his mouth shut. Deck don't look
Yeah,
amused. I don't think you have you ever watched any David Blaine, Deck?
No.
If you
I mean, then you can't argue then.
Pretty sure. You'll find out.
watch some, you'd be amazed.
I've written down about Derren Brown, Dynamo, and David
I thought
Copperfield.
you were going to say Blaine.
Well,
then.
Derren
I thought you
Brown's
look
a
on the other
con
sheet of your paper and say Blaine. We were just talking about him.
That was so funny, wasn't it?
What magicians have you seen, Declan?
Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. I'd argue he's not a magician, but yeah.
Magic on the screen.
Is it? I don't really like Harry Potter.
To be fair, is Harry Potter a magician? Because he does make magic, right?
Nah, because magicians are like it's fake, isn't it? He's gone. He's gone.
What's the difference between a wizard? No, that's a stick. I've answered that myself. Before.
And a magician?
What's the difference between a wizard and a
Well, I'd
magician?
argue David Blaine's not a wizard.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like, if you called Dumbledore a magician, he would yeet you, mate.
So, what is the wildest? Or tell me about David Blaine. What's the wildest?
He's white. I reckon he's about. I was going to say his age, like mid-40s maybe. He's got to be getting on a bit.
I don't know, how old is he? Yeah.
You just told me to tell you about him. He's got some kids. He seems like quite a nice guy. Deck is really not amused.
Does he seem like a nice guy though?
He's really
He seems
weird.
like-
He's
Yes.
really weird. But that's his persona though, isn't it? But the reason
Right.
Deck's never watched any David Blaine. Let me explain David Blaine to you, Declan. Right?
Honestly, I'm alright.
There are magicians, yeah? Like Dynamo and that. Naff.
Yeah.
Then there's David Blaine.
What
And he is
about
just
Dumbledore?
mental.
Where does Dumbledore come into this?
So there is one trick where David Blaine just brings up a live frog out of his stomach. He just regurgitates it. Do you not think that's incredible?
Nah.
Because he has just swallowed a frog.
You couldn't do that.
That doesn't make me not amazing. That makes
Like,
him an idiot.
He's just had a frog swimming in his stomach all that time and then he brings it up.
Yeah, that's animal abuse.
Imagine
There's hella acid in his stomach.
Yeah. But but imagine that frog swimming in your stomach. Like, imagine going on a live show, right, and then doing it, and it's your last trick for 2 hours. You just got this frog just swimming about.
Do you think that's amazing?
No, I think it's stupid.
He does one with an ice pick, right? So an ice pick is obviously just like a really long, sharp bit of metal. And he just puts it through his hand. His arm. He just puts it through his arm, right? I think he does his hand as well. And no one knows how he does it. Because it looks really real. But then if you watch his special, he goes to a doctor, and it is just real. Like, they x-rayed it, and he does just put it through his hand. But he's done it so many times that he's built scar tissue, and he just has a little hole in his hand that he can push it through. But, like, the doctor said that for him to have found a spot that doesn't touch any, like, blood vessels or anything is just insane. It must have taken him ages, and he must have bled so much to find a spot that he could put it through. But he can now just put it through his hand. But that's incredible, right?
To be fair, that is more impressive. But that's not magic, is it?
Or, yeah, but this is the thing.
He's
All
just
he's
an
lying
idiot.
Is magic, and part of
It's
his
not.
special is
He's
that.
just a moron.
But no one knows. That's what's magic about it, right? He said he'll never do a trick. Loads of people go to him for ideas, yeah, and he says no because no one would ever believe I could do that. Everything he does, you could believe that he is just mental enough to do. You know what I mean?
The first time I really heard of David Blaine was when he was in like a fishbowl for like a week, and then he just lived in the water for a week, and then at the end of that he tried to break the record for holding his breath, but he just lived in a fish tank for a week, like no food, nothing, right? He had like the oxygen tanks, but he was just in it for a week. That's mad. And then when I started to hear more about him, it was stuff like he buried himself in a box underground
7
for like
days.
5 days.
I'll tell you
7
what,
days.
7 days.
that fishbowl trick, he must have had some wrinkly old skin.
So the
Yeah.
one where he
And he froze himself in ice?
Yeah, he froze himself in ice, yeah. The one where he buried himself underground was the first one he ever did. And it's because he read about a lot of tribes used to do it, right? It was like a ritual thing. They used to get buried in a coffin underground, but it was all fake. They used to just like climb into a tunnel and then just go and eat and drink and all that sort of stuff. They weren't actually in a coffin. So he was like, I'm going to actually do it for real. So he put a tank of water above him so that everybody could see him inside this coffin. And he built a coffin inside his living room to practice. And he used to just get inside this coffin in his living room and just sit in it for long and longer periods at a time. And then his rule is, if he can do half of it in his living room, then he knows he can do the whole thing in real life. That's his rule. So
The thing that's insane about that is that, like, genuinely, they don't even take the mick with this, but how bored is this man? Like, how bored is he just to get in his living room coffin? For
No,
like 3 hours
I
and
reckon
be like,
he sings
Yep.
TikTok by Kesha, like on a loop.
on a loop.
Maybe.
This was
That
in
does sound plausible.
1999.
probably
So
not.
if he's singing that, he is a magician.
All right, anything by Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure Justin Timberlake was born in
Anything.
1999.
I'll debate he's older than us.
I don't know, mate. I'm not sure. One of my favourite things. So he did some tricks for, I think it was Bush or Blair? Bush.
Right.
And he had to.
They're the same entity, really.
Yeah, they're the same. They're all Obama. They all look the same. So he did. He wanted to do some tricks for Bush, right? And he had to do it to the Secret Service people first, like the security guards,
Right.
to show that what he was going to do. And he really wanted to steal the president's watch. He really, really wanted to do that. But he knew if he just touched the president, he was going to get like tackled to the floor. So when he did the thing with the bodyguards, he was really like violently just moving them and throwing them around because he wanted them to think that was part of his act. Even though he didn't need to, he just wanted them to be. He wanted them to think when he touched the president that was normal. So when he was doing it with these Secret Service people, he was just like lobbing them around and just flinging their arms everywhere. And then if you watch the trick that he does with Bush, he does a card trick and then he grabs his hand and I still can't even see him get the watch. And then he just says to the president, "Oh, I've stole your watch, by the way." It's just crazy. That takes balls.
I find it weird when he does like street magic, because that seems very un-David Blaine to do street magic.
He's famous for the
because
levitation
he's known
one,
for these
isn't he?
big. That was voted the second best trick.
It's really easy though.
Out of 2.
Second best trick ever.
What was the first?
David Copperfield sawing a person in half but not with a saw, with like a blade that drops down.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
What, a guillotine?
Just because I think it's the iconic magic trick, isn't it? Sawing someone in half.
Yeah, it is like the yeah. But the levitating one's really easy.
What happened?
What happened? He
He
levitated, mate.
He just
levitates
jumps.
him. Okay.
And
No, he so what you do is you like say your feet are flat. I'm going to show you. No one can see this at all. You put like the front bit of one foot down to pick your feet up. Yeah. So you've only got one little bit of contact, but people can't see that. They just see your feet rise. It's really hard to explain, but it's a very famous thing and it's really easy to do.
The ice one was mental. He froze himself in a block of ice.
He did, mate. I've got it here. He froze himself in a block of ice for 63 hours.
why?
Why?
I don't really know how to answer that, mate. Although, actually, it does just say here that he earned $1 million. So...
Oh, fair enough, yeah. Right, give me a block of ice now.
The one that he says is the most dangerous is he stood... he got electrified, right, for 72 hours. But he was actually stood in a Tesla coil, so every physicist agrees he was in literally no danger at all. Like, none.
Okay.
But he always says that he was like, he could have died. No, he's in a Faraday cage, sorry. I don't know why I said Tesla. He was in a Faraday cage.
So, was he actually getting electrified?
No, he's in a Faraday cage. That was getting electrified. There's a lot of electricity around him. It looks mental. And he did stand there for 72 hours, so I let him off. But he wasn't in like as much danger as he says he was.
How does he do that? Like, with no sleeping, no eating, no drinking? Someone's not going to have to pass like a burger through the bars, are they?
Well, the
Right,
one
all
where
that
he
going
didn't
on.
eat's really interesting because he
Sure, he doesn't eat in all of them, though, right?
he did it. Yeah, but this one was the one where it was like the only part of the stunt was that he wasn't going to eat, right? So he suspended himself above London in a clear box, and he was in it for 44 days.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
eat for 44 days.
I love the fact that when he did that, people threw food at him.
Yeah, they did. They chucked loads of stuff at
It's
him.
just
Loads.
such British culture.
It's because it's Britain, isn't it? That's just what we do. Like, oh, there's a man up there in box or chucks at home.
What did he eat for drink?
He had water, mate.
So, like, how?
What do you mean?
He put it to his
He
lips.
had just had bottles of water in the box.
I imagine I imagine they could get him stuff, I guess. But it was like live in the middle of London, so...
To be fair, if you give me a Nintendo DS and like a couple of bottles, of wine, I reckon I could do that.
44 days?
Yeah.
Was the box big enough for him to like, move sort of about in?
No.
It's 2 by 2 foot.
It was like quite a small box. But they did some tests on the water because they thought that maybe he was sneaking in nutrients in his water, and it was just water. But he must have been doing something. It must be a trick because he didn't lose any weight. He didn't eat for 44 days and he lost no weight. So he must have been getting food somehow, but no one knows how.
So that is magic, right?
No.
Yeah, because magic's a trick to trick people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That you can't explain, and you can't
But
explain.
it's not
how he
like
stayed
it's not
alive.
like Harry Potter magic, but it's magic in the sense of
That's
what-
illusions.
Yeah.
That's not magic.
But you can't explain it, so it's magic.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. I agree with Deck as well, but it just depends how you use the word magic, really, innit?
In this podcast, hopefully the way.
But like when he held his breath, he tried to find a magic way to do that, a magic illusion way to do that, but he couldn't. I told you about this, Lou. He went to some doctor,
Yeah.
and the doctor was just an idiot. The doctor was like, there might be a way for you to, when you breathe in, because when you breathe in, you don't use all the oxygen you breathe in, right? You only use like a bit of it, and then you still breathe out oxygen. He was like, I might be able to build a contraption that just keeps circulating the oxygen you have. No, you can't. So there's footage of David Blaine like lying down, and they're just like ramming this thing down his throat, like this massive tube, and he's just gagging and stuff. And he's like, oh, that didn't work. And then he wanted to get a oxygen pipe just put directly into his like veins. He thought maybe that'll work.
Well, like
And he was
liquid
like-
oxygen.
Yeah, he was like, maybe we can just get like a tube that goes up into my groin so that when I'm underwater, oxygen's just coming into me in a different way. But that couldn't work either, so he had to actually learn to hold his breath. But he did try to trick it first.
That proper makes me feel.
So he's
like
probably tricking other things.
the idea of just a pipe going into his groin makes me absolutely cruel. That's horrible.
Straight into his veins, boy.
So, I love magic, and one of my favourites is Derren Brown.
He's not a magician.
Again, just shut up.
He's not even a good hypnotist.
You must be on about someone else. This is Derren Brown, the hypnotist, the magician.
Mrs. Brown and her boys.
That's who you're thinking about.
Worst show on TV.
He says that he hypnotises them well quick, and there's no way.
Yeah, he also does the like subliminal messaging thing that
Yeah.
Penn and Teller say is
Yeah.
impossible, and they're like
NLP.
the best magicians in the world, and they say that it's just not real. It's never real. You can't subliminally message anyone. It just doesn't work.
But nonetheless, it's still cool.
I really like Derren Brown. I think he's very entertaining.
To be fair, he has said how he's done some of them. So he had one show called The System.
Yeah, but has he?
And it was about...
Or is
What?
that part of the entertainment factor? Do you know what I mean?
Wait till I say, because I reckon this is actually
Okay.
like...
This isn't like...
Wait.
Yeah, go on. No, you go on.
He had this thing called The System. It was about how he would predict things for them to come true. And I think the lottery number one might have been in this. The lottery one was big, where he like sort of hypnotised them to predict the lottery numbers and stuff. But there was one where he said that he was going to do 10 heads in a row, like by flipping the coin. People were like, how did you know you was going to do 10 heads in a row? And he was just like, hey. He actually revealed a few years later that it took 9 hours of filming, just flipping
I was
the
literally
coin
about to say to you,
actually-
did you just do it loads of
Yeah.
times?
Yeah, and he'd done it for 9 hours until he got 10 heads in a row, yeah.
That's
Idiotic.
a lot of commitment.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Could he
yeah.
not have just
But it looked
made
cool.
a fake coin?
Yeah, or edited it.
Yeah, but I guarantee there's a way to like weight a coin so it always goes heads, right? Or it has at least a higher chance so it doesn't take 9 hours,
Yeah,
maybe like
wait,
20 minutes.
Wait the tail side.
Well, there was an
surely.
audience with him as well, which is like the funny thing. There
He
was an
should have
audience
just
going,
buttered
"Wow."
one side.
They also sat there. Yeah, good point. But always face down, to be fair, yeah. He done one called The Escape, which he said is like a really dangerous thing. He taught someone how to like, well, escape
Escape what?
from like a bag tied up. They tied up a
Tesco
bag, and
carrier
it was
bag.
like-
Taught him how to rip
yeah.
it.
Did they just, yeah, they were like they were like ducks, just like caught in bags. No, and they tied him up, and he was like, "I'm going to teach you how to escape." And he taught them how to escape in like it was a real short period of time. And he went, "Right, we're now going to push you into a lake in a bag. You're going to get out." And I think it was live, and he done
And
it.
they died.
And they died. And the case is still ongoing.
I mean, is that
His
legal?
next trick was like, if you sign it, surely.
What, that you'll get pushed into a
Sign
lake in a
paper.
bag and might die?
Yeah, he done one as well with the blanks, shooting the blanks against his head,
Hmm.
and because he said that, well, it wasn't actually blanks he was shooting; it was a bullet. But he shot blanks, and he was trying to say that blanks would still kill you at like close range against your head. A blank would still kill you because it's like the
Blunt
explosion.
force,
It would
yeah,
still
yeah.
kill you. So no matter if it was a blank or a bullet, he would have still died. And he got the barrel of this gun, numbered it like 1 to 8 or something, and told the man to put the bullet in one of the number chambers. And then he'd put it against his head, and he'd click it, and click it, and click it. And then I think it got to the 4th one, and he like pointed against the wall, and fired, and it was empty. And you can literally, it was live as well, and the bloke was sitting behind him, and you could literally tell the horror in Dan Brown's face, where he's acting real cocky, like real slow, he puts it against the wall and shoots, expecting the bullet to leave, and he's like, when he finds out it's the wrong one that he's predicted, so he puts it back against his head, and for the next like minute, he's just like there, like, oh my god, and it looks like he's gonna go, I can't do this, because he thought he must have been saying the word like number 4 over and over because he was trying to subliminally put this in this man's head. Didn't work at all, and he's just absolutely like cacking himself that he's actually going to blow his brain out. But eventually he did get the right one. But like, imagine that just live on Channel 4, Darren Brown blows his head off because he got the trick wrong. Like,
Do you not think
that
that
is man. There's a bloke just sitting behind him.
that was part of the act as well, though?
Like there is that, but like the genuine terror on his face.
No,
just looks
like I said, I still think it's good entertainment. I think that brings you on to the morals of magic, though, right?
yes.
Or illusion. I'll be honest, I'm going to use magic a lot in this episode, so if you've got a problem with that word, you ain't going to have fun. If Darren Brown is actually genuinely in danger there, should he morally be allowed to do that for entertainment?
Yes, he should die.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, he should die.
Yeah, but like, say you're
It's not only for
watching
the audience,
that,
but the person who's watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and he actually shoots himself in the head.
Their fault. They shouldn't be watching
Yeah.
stupid magic.
Well, I think that though about a lot of the things that Dan Brown does, like the one it was called Push to the Edge. I remember when it came on TV, but it's on Netflix as well. and they got this group of people in to conform to everything. So it's just like a corporate event, and the first thing they'd done was like they'd say to these people, "Oh, these are meant to be vegetarian vol-au-vents.
I've seen
They've
this.
actually got meat in it.
That's
Put
what
this
it's for.
vegetarian stick in it," and they were like, "Oh, okay then." It was just like these little things, and then they didn't give this man his tablets, and he died. And they got this like real realistic figure of it, felt like him and stuff, and they said, "Roll it down the stairs." And they were like, no, I can't do it. Like, roll it down the stairs because like we're the ones who killed him. Like, roll it down the stairs. They roll it down, and then eventually they get him to like kick the body at the bottom of the stairs. And then at the end, the man's woken up because he says that he didn't actually die. It was just like his heart was like suspended in like sleep mode, and he's sitting on the edge of this building. And they all crowd around. They go, push him off the edge, and they go, "You've got to do it. We can't do it. You've got to do it." And the bloke who is followed throughout the episode goes, "Nope, not for me." And he walks away. He walks away, and then Derren Brown meets him on the stairs, and he's like calming him down.
And they show
do
loads
it
of
with
other
5 others.
people.
Yeah, 5 others, and they all pushed him, just pushed him off the edge of this building. And it was just like, it was like morally, those people, the fact they pushed him off the edge. I know it was like they were told, "Oh, it's only like for an experiment," but realistically, they've got to live with that for the rest of their life. The fact that they actually,
Yeah, but that's good entertainment, isn't it? I like that Derren Brown thing because there wasn't that much just like absolute bull coming out his mouth. He was just making people make some horrible decisions under a lot of pressure, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it was like he was building it up to see if they would like do it. But like in 20 years when they go to therapy and go, "How'd this start?" and they go, "Derren Brown got me to push someone off the edge of a building."
But they signed up to be on a Derren Brown thing. They know what's coming.
But like that's a bit like it's testing the Lucifer Effect, really, isn't it? From the Stanford prison experiment. Like the idea being, if man has opportunity and power, he's going to do wrong. So they gave him the opportunity at the start, and then just went, "Well, you've killed him. Dig your heels in, and hope he stays dead."
But like the thing
basically,
what I never get about these Derren Brown shows is they sign up for him, yeah, and then they always get told they haven't got it. They always get told they haven't got it, yeah. No matter, they just say, "Look, you didn't get it. I'm really sorry."
Yeah.
If then 6 months later, I'm in a scenario where I've killed a man apparently, and so I'm gonna know I'm in a Derren Brown thing, and or maybe I'll sign up for Derren Brown thing. I actually won't get it, and I will kill a man. And I'll just be like, "Oh, come on in, Derren. What are you gonna do about it, mate?" And I'll just start stabbing him.
Where are you?
What now, Derren?
Yeah.
I'm not playing your games.
I remember when
You're twerking on the body.
Funny, you are?
Teabagging the body, and he's like,
Like, come on, get up.
Just like many moons
Oh,
ago
right.
when Derren Brown done the zombie apocalypse thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was just crazy.
I was with you,
That
weren't I?
was
Stayed on
amazing.
yours that night.
But yeah, when they done this zombie thing, and he had to like, it was like the Wizard of Oz thing, wasn't it? And he had to give someone courage, give someone like brains, stuff like that, and it was. I just thought it was amazing that he genuinely believed he was in a zombie world. It was just amazing TV, whether it was real or not. Amazing entertainment.
Yeah, it is good entertainment.
I'd argue that is any fiction.
It's good entertainment.
But it had,
It's not real, but it's good entertainment.
That he supposedly, whether you believe it or not, wasn't acting. That he had to put himself in this situation.
That's just like hours upon hours upon hours of what's it called? Conditioning and hypnotherapy and shit.
Yeah. And there's another thing done called remote control, where you got these people in like a theatre, and it was like, you're going to control this man for a day. You're going to get options to do something, what you can do, and then he's shown getting up in the morning, and then they were like, "Well, we've got what should we do? What should we do? Get him to brush his teeth." And they're like, "Yeah, all right." And they're like, "Send him to the pub." And they're like, "Yeah, all right." And it was just all these decisions were based off of what they did. At the end, they decided that he was going to get kidnapped by 5 men in masks and balaclavas and taken away. And it was like the idea of like mob mentality. That like at the start they were going, "Oh, we should do normal things." By the end they were like, "Get him, kill him." Like, mad. And another one, he done this thing about how like saying things, like pressurising people to do something. Like in science, you burn a magnesium. Whatever you do, don't look at the light, and you all look at the light. You look at the sun during an eclipse. And then he gets saying to all these people, one of them, he went to this like dark room, and he turned the lights on. There was a cat in a glass box, a kitten, and he said, "That cat is on electric probes. There's a button there, a red button. whatever you do, just don't press the red button. The red button will kill the cat. Whatever you do, don't press that button. The cat will die. The cat will scream. The cat will die. Don't press the red button. And he kept saying it and saying it. And he's like, I'm going to get some paperwork. I'll be back in a minute. And he left. And it had a timer on it, I think. Like a minute time or something like that. And you can see her, she's like real like, oh, would it kill the cat though? Like, would it kill the cat? And she was just like, oh, will it? And you can just tell that she's uncomfortable in this room. And it's got like 1-2 seconds left on a timer. She goes up to it and just presses it. And then the whole room goes black, and you can just hear this cat like screeching and meowing, like electric going off, and she's just like crying. And then Derren comes in the room, turn the lights on, and also the cat is just still alive, like nothing's happened. It was all just like when you hit that, the electric went off and a cat meowed because it was playing in the background somewhere. But like she thought that she had killed the cat. Like she really believed that she killed the cat because he was going, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
It makes you realise how stupid humans are, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I think that.
Like, she got told what would happen
idea.
if she pressed the button.
Yeah.
She pressed the button, it happened, she sobs.
Mm.
You were literally told, if you press that button,
You're going to kill the cat.
The cat will die. And then you cry and go, I just didn't think the cat would die.
No.
We told you, mate.
Dynamo as well, then.
Yeah,
Now, if you was the first person to tell me about Dynamo.
Was I? I think I was the first person to ever mention him to anyone, actually. I went to school with him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's in my year.
I've got Dynamo's book actually.
That's not
really.
as much for claim to fame as. Were you trying to one up me then?
No.
I went to school with him. I've got his book. Oh, bloody hell! Fair enough, mate. What's he said? What's he chat about in his book?
I don't know.
His life.
I think. Yeah, he's not going to tell me the secrets of his magic tricks.
It's weird all the like autobiographies and stuff that come out, though, isn't it? Like, how many people do you think actually care about Dynamo? No offense to Dynamo, he seems all right, I guess. But like, why would you care about his life?
It's not like it's going to be like Mick Jagger's like tell all about rock and roll and sex and drugs. Like the book about Motley Crue, where it says in there that like they were at a pool party and they met Ozzy Osbourne, and he was just like urinating by the pool and then like licking it up, and there was like a stream of like ants, like fire ants, walking around the pool, and he just got on the floor and just sniffed them up. Like, they're the stories you want to hear. Like, yeah, just literally, there's ants on the floor, like as you do on a hot country, like walking around the pool. He gets on his knees, just sniffs these ants up. Like, that's the stories you want to hear, and I can't imagine reading that in like, Dynamo or autobiography, to be honest.
That man is clapped.
It would be funny if you were reading Dynamo's thing though, and he was talking about snorting ants.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd feel like you got your money's worth.
In the I don't know what World Cup it was. Not the last one, year before that, I think. The one before that.
Thanks for
He
narrowing that
predicted
down.
every score for the World Cup games. He said it was going to be at the final. He said that it was either Neymar or Messi was going to go out injured. He predicted all the scores. Just got them.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's pretty mad, isn't it?
It was like in a box, wasn't
That
it?
is mad.
Was that the one in the box? Was that something
Yeah.
else?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember a bit. Yeah.
But no, I remember that.
But I don't think that's crazy. That is pretty magic, isn't it? It's not like they were like, oh, it was luck. He got a couple wrong, but he didn't.
There's a crazy one with David Blaine with Margot Robbie, and he like gets her to stand in the corner of a room and look at her phone, and guess and like say and pick a word from an article, right? And then he writes down numerical, yeah, which is a mental word, and then before he's even shown her, he says, "What was your word?" and she says numerical, and then he shows her like how.
Yeah.
And also the article was random. He didn't pick the article. The article was random. But how?
Yeah, around them like that. Yeah, where he gave us one a box just full of like newspaper articles, just loads and loads of newspaper articles, or actually newspapers, and he told her to pick one, and then rip out a particular article and then circle one word, and then in an envelope at the start, he'd already written down like the word it was going to be, and the paper it was going to come from, the date of the paper, all that stuff, the page it was going to be on, and stuff like that. And that's just like, wow, how? It's mad.
I don't know.
And Dynamo does do some wacky things, and I know that you're going to say it's all just like rubbish, but like, this man can walk through windows.
He walked on water, didn't he? That was his real big,
Yeah.
like, his big famous one that got him started. Was he walked on the Thames?
Yeah, it was. And everyone goes, oh, he walked on plates. He might have done, but also like boats were like circling him to try and show the fact that it wasn't like he wasn't walking on things because boats were circling it.
Yeah, but
and boats were going by him.
if you've got something that can float on the surface of water that's see-through, and it's buoyant enough, a boat could just go over it and just come back up, right?
I don't
And
know.
if it's buoyant enough, the boat will just push it down, and then when the boat's gone, it will just come back up, won't it?
Yeah, but he was walking on the surface of the water, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, because
The
it's
boat took him
floating.
over that. Yeah, but the boat goes partly underwater, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think you just like push it?
Yeah, push it.
You're giving me a pain behind my eyes.
I reckon it's like
Wouldn't that be absolutely hilarious? So wouldn't that make the trick? Well, Derren's gone. No, bloody hell. Dynamo's gone out there, and he's walking out, and the boat pushes it instead of going over the top of it, and he just falls in the water instead.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how he did it, and it was quite cool, and it's a really good idea for a stunt because everyone was just like, "There's a man walking on the Thames." I
Yeah.
don't get much better than that, but
And there was the one where he walked down a building, wasn't there? And he stood up top, and everyone was like, "He's going to jump!" And he just fell forward and walked down. And then at the bottom, he just walked off. And that is the trick that like people thought he was on a harness. And he
there's
just
something
walked
I don't trust about Dynamo though, because his show, I feel like it could just be like fake. I don't know. I just don't trust it.
I mean, it's all fake.
No, but you know
Is
what I
it-
mean.
is it-
Like,
You don't trust
Fake,
it because
fake.
it's so mental.
I think he's got the problem that David Blaine's been avoiding, where like David Blaine won't do anything if people can't believe that he's actually done it. Like when he sews his mouth shut, you fully believe that man has just sewn his mouth shut. You'd never think it was a trick,
Yeah.
right? Whereas him walking down the side of it, he obviously hasn't walked down the side of a building. Like he obviously hasn't, without some
No.
sort of something.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of stuff David Blaine wouldn't do.
Or he's a real magician.
Or that.
Or that. There's one where... Have you seen the one where he got someone to drive blindfolded?
Is that... Wait, what? What was the trick?
No, he was driving blindfolded and someone was telling him how to drive. And he was just like on the street, just driving around, like in reverse, everything. And this bloke was like just absolutely bricking it next to him, and he was telling him how to drive. The trick was the fact that he put his man's life in danger.
Was it definitely a blindfold, though? Because Penn and Teller talk about how there's loads of blindfolds that just look like blindfolds, but they're just not.
What, you think that he was like? What?
I,
Cellophane?
Just driving.
Louis, I thought this is quite easy to work out.
What's confused you? There are blindfolds that magicians use.
That are
just
see-through.
They're just see-through, but they look exactly like a blindfold. But if you have them on, you can see.
That's magic in itself. That is crazy. Yeah, like you can't just put a cloth over your face and see through it.
Yeah, it's a special type of cloth, though, isn't it? Made
That
for
is
magic.
Honestly, crazy. That is crazy.
So he could have just been wearing a fake blindfold, just driving, and yeah.
Well, I think that's absolute magic.
I was ready to punch a hole through my laptop.
I'll tell you what. One real good trick is the Metamorphosis Trick. I can't remember who it was who'd done it.
Or
it's
what
been
they
copied
did.
Loads and loads and loads. They put someone in a glass box,
Oh yeah.
but stick their arm out of a hole in the box
Yeah, I've
and
heard
get them
that.
to hold something. Sometimes a curtain. And then they pull the curtain up top so the audience can't see. Then they drop the curtain, and the person inside the box who's tied up has changed, but yet the same arm's been holding the curtain.
I
So it's
reckon
like,
I can
how
work
did
it
that
out.
person change?
There's a trick Penn and Teller do. This is not to do with that. I'm just ignoring your thing. I'm not. It's called like the rocket something. Have you seen this?
Don't know.
So Penn and Teller love to do where they show you a trick and then they show you exactly how it's done because they just love it.
Yeah.
Like they got kicked out of the magic circle because they just reveal everything. So they do this trick and it's like a rocket thing and Teller gets in it and then Penn just starts picking it apart, right, into different boxes.
Right.
And then like Teller will appear in each box, like his head will appear in one, or his legs will appear in one, or his arm will just randomly pop up over here while his head's over somewhere else.
Right.
But then they do it with a see-through box. So you can just see everything that's happening, right?
Yeah.
And basically what happens is the stage is a fake stage, and Teller gets into the stage and there's like a skateboard, and he just pushes himself around, and then whenever he needs to pop up, he just like pops his head up, or he like pops his legs up or something like that, and he still does it now, and he's like 75 or something, and he just like gets on a skateboard and pushes himself around. But the arm one is the one that always shocks everyone, and it's really freaking obvious. Like, Lucy was amazed by it, right? So Teller picks up a box, and then an arm comes out and waves a flag thing. And everyone's like, how has Teller's arm got up there? Penn just puts his arm in the box.
Puts his arm in.
And everyone's like, how's Teller's arm got there? If you watch it, you can clearly see that Penn just does this. But because people are so engrossed in the trick, they're like, how has his arm got there? That is amazing.
Yeah.
Literally a different arm.
I just think, if this trick, the arm doesn't move, though. They're in a box, and then suddenly when the curtain drops, different person.
I reckon, yeah. I'll watch it, mate. I reckon it's... I've seen a lot of magic in my days.
Metamorphosis. Cracking one.
Seen a lot of magic in my times.
To be fair, you could watch Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. That's pretty good as well.
I don't really like Harry Potter. The magic ain't real enough for me.
Yeah, not real magic.
I don't feel it, you know? Like, Expelliarmus ain't real, is it?
Magic Mike, what about him?
Yeah, it's all fake, and...
Magic Mike?
People who like it are crackpots.
Do you not think that Hogwarts would be better if you just walked into, like, I don't know any of the Snape's class, I don't know anything about Harry Potter, and everyone's just got ice picks and they're just stabbing and bleeding, and then they pull it out, and then they stab and bleed, and then they pull it out?
No, because he's a potions master, so what would they do?
Do you not think that would be more entertaining?
No.
Well, I don't know anything about Harry Potter, mate. Just Doctor Who and women for me, please.
One after the other.
Talking about the morals thing, right? David Blaine does a thing where he shoots himself in the mouth. You seen this, Dick?
Yes. No, but I've heard of it.
So what he does is, when he first did it, he got his mate to shoot him in the mouth. And he was like, I'll never do that again, because that was like horrible, and his mate could have killed him. He was like, that's immoral. So what he did was he just put a bit of string to a gun and shot himself in the mouth, right? So what he gets is he gets like a brace thing to go over his teeth, and then there's a little cup in that. So when the bullet hits the cup, his whole jaw takes the brunt of the bullet, which is like enough to stop it, right? But when he did it in front of the live audience, the cup broke away from the mouth brace. So instead of just a bullet hitting the back of his throat, the cup with the bullet in it hit the back of his throat. Now obviously, like, when it broke, it managed to take enough of the force not to kill him, but he had like some serious lacerations in the back of his mouth. That's a bit immoral, isn't it? Because that was in front of like thousands of people in Vegas.
Audience, yeah.
And he could have died. Yeah,
and then all those people have to, for the rest of their life, live with the fact that they watched that man die on stage.
They watched David Blaine get shot in the head.
In the fact that, like, not even just die, but like he's obviously going to be screaming blood, gore.
And then when he's in the ambulance, his whole team are like, we can't do this again, David, like, you're going to die. And then David just says, no, we're going to do it again, we're just going to do it better. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this. And he's like, no, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it on my entire tour, every night, but we'll do it better.
But the audience knows that he does dangerous shit, so it's not like he's...
Yeah, but I think there's that
surprise
thing, though, where, like, people can say, oh, yeah, I'll come, but do they actually... Does anyone there actually believe that he could die? That's the problem.
If they don't, they're an idiot.
I think a lot of people think it's just illusion, because Penn and Teller do the gun shooting trick. They've done it for years, where Teller catches a bullet, but it's not real, and they'll tell you it's not real. It's completely fake. Nobody gets shot, but it looks real. But they say that they believe it is completely immoral to do anything actually dangerous. They do a lot of stuff that looks really, really dangerous, but they think it's immoral to do something that's actually dangerous. He swallows needles. He's learned how to swallow needles.
What's he doing when he's in his stomach?
So what he did on James Corden's thing, he swallowed like 10 needles, and then he swallowed like some string or something, and then when he pulled it up, all the needles were on that. But like when you look at his mouth's bleeding. Like he's done something. I think he's just mental. Yeah. He's just learnt to do stuff. He's just mental.
But like, one day he's going to learn to do something, and it's going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah. So there's the fire one, which I told you about. He learnt a trick from some like Indian man, and basically all you do is you swallow like gallons and gallons of water. And he did it live on TV, and he's just swallowing just jugs and jugs of water. and then he gets like kerosene, and he just drinks all the kerosene. And kerosene, if you swallow it, will kill you. But because he's drank so much water, it sits on top.
Right.
And then he breathes fire because he's really good at regurgitating. He does like a water funnel from his mouth, but it's kerosene.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and then he does the same with the water. But the guy who invented the trick died doing the trick. But David Blaine still does it all the time.
I mean, he's amazing, and he is magic because he is crazy.
He's
I'm
stopped.
not gonna call all crazy people magic.
He's stopped doing his dangerous stuff now because he's got like kids and stuff. So he did his most recent one was Ascension. Is it called Ascension or Ascent? And he got
is that where he got on the balloon?
Oh, with the balloons.
loads of helium balloons, and then he like held on for as long as possible, and then he released and stuff. He had to do loads for that. He had to get like 3 different airplane licenses because you have to do it in like an order. And he had to learn how to. He did 500 parachute jumps in preparation because he had to get a certain qualification.
Mad.
He's just mental. He just has problems. We never even said what we were drinking.
No, we can say it now.
I'm drinking kerosene. 100% kerosene.
Have you drank water first?
Shit. you boys might want to call someone. Do you think you can drink the water after?
Would that work? Does that work?
No, I'm dead.
Oh,
That frog ain't alright either.
So we're drinking a Kivaic. Is that how you say that?
Have we ever pronounced a beer right on this episode, on this podcast?
A Kivaic IPA. Dry, hopped.
I reckon it's just a catchy KVEIK IPA.
That makes perfect sense.
And you meant to say the brand first as well, actually. So it's actually an AVAANSKVEIK IPA.
I like that. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? I like that.
Oh, it does, mate. It really, really does. I say it every night before bed.
What do you think to it?
I think that it's fine.
Really?
No, I'm not a big fan.
Oh.
Do you really
No,
like
I
it?
think it's nice. I don't really like it. I mean, it's nice. It tastes... No, well... It's average.
I'll give it 2.25.
The thing that...
Out of
No, I
5.
actually agree with you there, so it's slightly below. The thing is, the aftertaste is quite like a Guzzlr.
Is it?
I think it tastes quite sour or salty or...
What are you drinking, Declan?
What about you, Declan?
I've got Zibibo.
Oh, you pronounced that right, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deck normally does. It's me and you that can't read.
Yeah. I got it from Lidl. The description reads, dry white wine, intense bouquet of jasmine and lavender with hints of green apple and citron fruit. Dry and fresh taste with a long aromatic finish of citrus fruits, yellow peaches and green apples. Pairing fish, soup, raw fish and shellfish diets. I hate all them foods, by the way. Store in a Corduck Place. This is in my top 3. I think it costs £7
Does it really taste like lavender?
It is gorgeous. It's really fruity. It's not like... It's weird because it's got a really like nice sweet taste, but it isn't too sweet. And then whatever like sickliness that would be there is just obliterated by how dry it is. It's amazing. Top 3. Actually, I'd probably put it second behind the Castillo.
Does it taste like green apple?
Yeah, it kind of does. It's really fresh. It's quite a unique taste as well. So,
Does it
Zibibo.
have a lavender taste to it? Because you mentioned lavender, and I genuinely just wondered because I thought that's quite a strange thing to have in a wine.
Yeah, it's got a unique taste. I'll definitely say that, but it's really, really nice. So go check that out. Zibibo from Lidl.
Anything else to add, boys?
Not this one. Next week we're doing good and funny news.
Not for this one. I hope there's more to add for other ones. Just
Yeah.
no, I'm done for nothing to add to any of them, mate.
Next week though, it is funny and good news, and I haven't started looking at news yet.
It comes around quick, doesn't it? Wait, what episode is this? Is this 35 or 36?
35.
Alright, fine. We may or may not be back next week.
We will
Me
be.
and Decker back next week with some funny good news. Do check it out. It's gonna be great.
Alright. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this Guzzlr podcast.